Welcome to Weekend Review. You know, in Romans 13:11, there's a verse that's very pertinent for this hour. It says this, "And do this, knowing the time that it is high time to awaken out of sleep." I believe that's the word of the Lord for all of us right now, and we've got to be awakened to the serious crisis that we are in America. And as we're going to look back, not just over a week, but over the past number of months with the new Biden administration, we have to recognize the Democrat Party has been hijacked by radical leftist socialists, and they have somebody in the White House that really, we don't really even, I believe, have a person so much in the White House as we have handlers that are giving directions and they're setting a narrative that is going forth. You know, Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham, sent out a letter recently, and I have a copy of it right here. And he's also saying we've got to wake up to what's going on. And he quoted at the top here from Acts 18, these words, "And do not be afraid, but go on speaking, and do not be silent, for I am with you." I believe that's the word of the Lord also to us right now. We're called to be bold as a lion. We're to be winsome and compassionate, but we're to be confident. And you know, when I was in Africa, I brought home this. This is a beautiful sculpture of a lion. And a lion is bold, and we're called to be bold. And you say, well, Larry, what are we bold about? Well, we need to be courageous today to address what's taking place on our watch. I want to give you eight red alerts of what's transpiring right now and has been taking place. Number one, with the new Biden administration, and I think this is the most radical socialist agenda ever put forth in America's history. Number one, we see this, that he erased God from the National Day of Prayer. That's never happened before. And using our tax dollars to subsidize abortion on demand in America and abroad. That's taking place right now, and Biden is pushing it. Number two, a red alert would be this. He has opened our southern borders and basically has been subsidizing illegals that are coming in. Do you know that almost 500,000 illegals have already crossed the border? And as a result of it, ICE, who are involved normally in interdiction, in other words, investigating and catching drug supporters, they've been, diverted. And as a result, the narcotics are coming into this country, and it's really a tsunami. Are you aware of that it's taking place? Do you know that in 1 year, we had 100,000 people die of opioids. Opioids, that was just a year ago. And what's happening is the southern border right now, because ICE is distracted, the drug cartels are having a field day. And there is a flood of heroin and cocaine and methamphetamines and fentanyl, and it's coming in, and this is narcotics. This is the drug industry. And then what it does is it's brought to the gangs in the cities, and then that's why we have so much violence today, because they're involved. This is the mafia at work, and it's taking place right now on our watch under this administration because of ineptitude and really, I believe, corruption. Another red alert that's taking place, I would say this, is that Biden has sided with Marxist Black Lives Matter. And as a result of it, pushing agenda items like what? Defunding the police. We see skyrocketing of crime in our cities. Are you paying attention to that? I'm not trying to scare you, but you look at New York and LA and Baltimore and St. Louis, it's through the roof. Do you know that literally in 1 year, 40 million guns were purchased. 40 million. Why? People are scared. They see what's going on as we've defunded the police, and then we have an administration that is kind of clapping from the sidelines with Black Lives Matter and their agenda. What else would be a red alert? I'd say number four is this. We have really, despite some COVID relief and a lift that people have gotten, they're saying, oh, with this free money, this administration is proposing, Mr. Biden, spending hike of $6 trillion. There is a day of reckoning coming, and we're fooling ourselves if we think we can just print money. When you print money, then it's devaluated. And then what happens is we will experience a deep explosion or meltdown. You know, Mr. Biden went and visited Jimmy Carter. I was alive and I remember Jimmy Carter. In fact, I voted for him because I thought, well, he's born again. But do you know what it was like? Now listen, can you imagine this today? Do you know what the economy was like in that time? We had mortgage rates. You say, how big were they? They were 22% interest rates. We had 13% inflation. I'm sorry. It boggles the mind when you think about it. And there was a 22% misery index under Jimmy Carter. I remember when they had gas lines. You say, I don't like what's going on with the economy right now, and we see prices going up and gas and groceries. You bet they're going up because the supply lines have been cut, and it's not just hackers, but it was the Keystone pipeline that was stopped. And now we're all this about solar energy and $90 trillion we're going to invest in what? The Green New Deal. And it's going to have a negative impact, and you're already feeling it. That is another red alert. What else is taking place is policies that really have escalated things in the Middle East. Mr. Biden really put down policies of the Trump administration. And instead of standing with Israel, we see what? We see Hamas emboldened with weak leadership in the White House. And so thousands of rockets are going forth into Israel. Don't you believe the liberal press, what they're trying to say? They'll show you pictures of a family or something. Well, you know what? Israel is defending itself, and it must defend itself. But right now, we have weak leadership. And what does that do? That emboldens the terrorists and Hamas. And so Russia and China, they supply the arms to Iran. Iran gives them. And so we need to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. But what's happening? This is on the Biden administration. What else is taking place? Well, racial tensions are escalating, and we have pushing from this administration critical race theory. This is dangerous. Don't you believe leftists that are saying, oh, this is accurately portraying our country as racist and systemic racism. No, we don't judge people by the color of their skin, and we don't believe in promoting false ideology that tells us basically, bottom line, that if you have white skin, you're Caucasian, basically you're evil. This is wicked, and it's being pushed by this administration. Also, we have legislation. H.R. 1. This is supposed, voter reform. But see, this is dangerous. It's a monstrosity, and it will basically undermine fair and free elections and promote a one-party rule. That's what they have in California and New York, and that's what's being pushed. One more red alert, and that is this. Do you know what's being pushed in terms of the Equality Act, which is really the Inequality Act? Basically endorses and celebrates sexual anarchy and takes away religious freedom from churches and ministries and businesses all throughout America. And it's being pushed by this administration. That's why we're telling you, please stand against H.R. 5. Stop the Equality Act. It's the Inequality Act. We're living in a critical time. Those are red alerts. And I think it's time that we really heed what took place with the first revolution in this country. George Washington was trying to get together a motley crew, really of people, farmers, whatever, to stand for independence and break with England and the tyrannical regime and what was coming, totalitarianism, in the same way it is being pushed today. But Washington, as he worked to get soldiers, he's the one that said, well, here today, gone tomorrow. Soldiers would retreat. They'd desert. They were scared. And so Thomas Paine was a man that issued a statement. He said, basically, and you're going to read it, it's right on the screen right now. This was the crisis. And he said this. He said, these are times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in the crisis, shrink from the service of the country. But he that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of men and women. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this, oh my God, we have this confrontation with us that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. It's time to be bold as a lion. And I'm calling you to pray fervently for our nation and be alert. It's time to wake up and recognize what's taking place on our watch. Like I said, when I went to Africa, the lion, I brought this back to remind me, you and I are called to be bold as a lion, proclaiming the gospel and unconquered, unwavering in declaring the truth on our watch. It's time to awake.